This episode of Another Happy Pod is going to contain spoilers. If you've not experienced the content yourself, please go ahead and do so before coming back and listening to the boys ramble on about it. Thank you very much.
Hello and welcome to Another Happy Pod brought to you by the Pint Size Network, the pod where we keep it fresh, positive and dripping in Spidey vibes. I struggled to think of something there. We're your hosts. My name is Nathan and I'm joined as usual by this fucking cunt.
See, every time you do that, I have to bleep it, and it's growing increasingly annoying. Although I was watching the intro, kind of following you going through it and going, I wonder what he's going to say instead of old fossil, because we have written down from my end, not yours.
We have like a script for that intro written down. The problem is, though, we're both lazy and we haven't changed it. So it literally says dripping in blank vibes. And then it goes on to say, my name is Lawrence and I'm joined by some pun about me being old. So that's always fun.
Yep.
So I had to change
read
that
it
on the
out.
fly.
Be proud of it. Go on. It's a funny joke.
And I'm joined, as usual, by your favourite old fossil. Well done, Lawrence. It's a very funny joke. Ha ha, Nathan.
At least
old.
I said you're the favourite old fossil.
That's true.
I was going to say we're dripping in returning vibes because it has been 2 weeks, Nathan. We've been gone and the internet has missed us. I've been reading tweet after tweet saying, God, when's the new episode out?
There's been huge demands. People have been screaming and rioting in the streets. When will Another Happy Pod return to grace our audio feeds, grace our ears? Well, cease your rioting, my good people, for we have returned and we are here to bring back balance to... I don't fucking know, mate. What do you want?
This has gone on too long. I was gonna make a joke about how we are now the official podcast of America. That video is up on our Instagram of Joe Biden endorsing us.
Is this the first one since that went up?
It might be, but either way, I spent like 2 hours keyframing that, so fucking go and watch it. Nathan, the last 2 weeks we've had our PS5s. The last episode we did was a PS4 funeral.
Yes.
I would love to say that we've just been non-stop playing it, and that's the reason why we haven't been recording anything. However, it's not. It's because we had some mic troubles, but those troubles will hopefully be resolved in the coming days.
Yeah, our good friend Mike, he's got a bit of a drug problem, so we had some trouble with him. We had to...
Yeah, he's dead now, so in a couple of days we'll bury him and we'll be on with it. So
yeah, so fuck Mike.
Yeah, fuck Mike. He's dead
anyway. We had some trouble with some equipment, some microphone troubles, so we couldn't, unfortunately, record. I'm sure everyone missed us, or missed ignoring our posts anyway, but here we are, we're back. So, what are we talking about this week, Lawrence?
Okay, we are talking about the game that we were most excited to play I think we both installed this as the first game when we got the PS5, and that is Spider-Man Miles Morales, obviously in sort of continuation of Insomniac's 2018 game, which... everyone I think that's like universally loved. I'm sure Spider-Man fans out there have got bad words to say about it, but I'm pretty sure it's gone down for the most part pretty well.
It's not hard to make Spider-Man fans unhappy. They're a very easy bunch to piss off, much like Star Wars fans. Very volatile. So I'm sure the game has its what do you call not fans? Haters, I guess. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Right. So I'm sure the game has its haters, but for the most part, yeah, I think it's universally liked and praised. It's a very good story. So yes, and obviously we was all very excited for Miles Morales. Not just the PS5 game, it did come out on the PS4 as well, and we both could have played it on the PS4 before we got our PlayStation 5s, but we decided to wait, to hold off, because we wanted the first experience to be on the PS5, and I am so glad I resisted that temptation to download it.
Honestly, it's ridiculous. So me and Nathan had many conversations about how we would just kind of, every now and again, we'd just go to our downloads, because this came out about a week before the PS5 launched. So for about, I think it was about 5 to 7 days, we did just kind of sit there and go, I could be playing this right now. I could be loading this up, and I could have finished the campaign like a couple of days before the PS5 even arrives at my house. But fuck me, like Nathan just said, I'm so thankful I waited. Because this game, I think the best way to experience it. And we said this pretty early, and I'm just going to jump straight into it if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
There are 2 modes. There's performance mode and there's fidelity mode. Like if you get nothing from this pod, like play a little bit in fidelity, just to kind of experience the world.
Start it in fidelity mode, I'd say.
Yeah, and like, you know, get a sense of New York, Harlem. Like have a little have a swing around, and then when you get into it, when you want to start like just knocking people out and swinging about and doing all the side quests, my God, switch it over to performance because it is fucking incredible like that.
I started it off in fidelity mode, and then got like a couple of missions into the game, and I thought I'm gonna switch this to performance just to see how that looks, because I wanted fidelity mode first of all because that seemed like the way they described it is that was with graphics at the best, everything's smooth, there's ray tracing turned up to 11, everything like that. So I thought, let's go for this. One of my problems. I love the first Spider-Man game, the 2018 Spider-Man game, but one of my problems with it is that the buildings and the reflections in New York are just completely off. Because like you go to a building and you can see in the reflection on the building, you can see the Empire State in the reflection, but then behind the building you can see the Empire State, so it just doesn't work out.
Mate, you can probably see the reflection of the Empire State on the Empire State. It isn't very well realized. And to be fair, that was one thing I was kind of thinking about when I switched over to performance, because this is another thing, by the way, when you switch over to performance mode, good luck going back to fidelity, because you'll just grow so instantly outraged by how slow it is in comparison, because it goes from 30 to 60 frames. The major thing for, like, I don't go to these kind of Spider-Man games for like their photorealistic graphics.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah, you want to see what they look like. You want to see they look good, and obviously there is a marked improvement on the 2018 game. I'd fucking hope there is anyway, because of the fact that it's on a new console. But yeah, like experience it, go, wow, that's nice, and then play the game where you feel so much more like Spider-Man. Like the swinging is so much more sensitive. It's such a joy to play in that way.
But whatever works best for you, really. But the main thing, obviously, is that this is Miles Morales. This is a new game, continuation of the 2018 story. This time, Peter has taken a back seat. He's in the story, not much, but he's in there. But this time we're focusing on Miles. How did you find it, Lawrence?
Well, you know it from basically you don't need to see anyone take the mask off to realize you're playing as a different character, and that in itself is kind of a testament to like how seriously they took this character. They so easily could have swapped over the mechanics of the swinging from the first game and just gone, there you go, now he swings. And that's probably months of hard work sorted.
They could have literally just done a reskin, really.
Yeah, basically.
That's it, yeah.
But they didn't, and the fact that they put as much effort in as they did really shows. I can't, for the life of me, remember who the actor is that voices Miles, but he does a fucking amazing job, and you can hear in his voice.
Let me look that up.
Yeah, please do. I'd love to credit him because I'm sure he's listening out for that.
The voice actor's name is Naji Jeter. I may be pronouncing that wrong, but Naji Jeter.
I'm sure you are pronouncing it wrong, so I'm not going to try and just say shout out to that guy. Man, he's doing an amazing job, and the fact that do you know what? I felt the fact that it wasn't Peter was actually refreshing, because I liked the first game. I felt one of the things that I kind of grew tired of is the game immediately presents you with a pretty much already perfect Peter Parker. So there's not really much room to grow. And part of this whole storyline is the fact that Miles has to grow into Spider-Man. And you really feel that, especially with the sense of progression in like the skill tree and shit like that.
One of the things I liked about 2018 Spider-Man is exactly that he was fully formed, that it wasn't an origin story, that he'd been doing the job for 8 years, I think, at that point. And, he'd already fought most of his villains. They talk about how they're all in the raft, and he's already had these epic fights with, Vulture and Rhino and Electro and Shocker and all of these characters that we know from Spider-Man universe. And that's great, because we're not getting yet another origin story, because we know it. The reason why it's different with this. The reason why I'm kind of happy that we get this origin story is because it's new. It's not just Peter Parker, it's Miles Morales. And yeah, sure, we know Miles' origin, but it's not been shoved down our throats like Peter's has.
Yeah.
We've had so much fucking Peter Parker, especially like people of our generation. I'm sure you'll make a joke that I'm older, but whatever. Especially, because we've like grew up with the movies and then the reboot and then the other reboot and then, the TV shows and everything like that. So we've always had Peter Parker shoved down our throats. So it's just really nice to get the different take on it. Just a new Spider-Man, really.
Yeah.
Who again, we do know, but a different perspective on it.
And I think that's like one of the... Basically, I think that's the reason this game was made. Like, you can tell in the intention, right? I love Spider-Man as a character, but you're absolutely right. He's getting very, very stale, especially in like the world of pop culture, because he can't... Put it this way, so many directors have had their take on him, and I don't just mean the big three ones. I mean loads of others in terms of like animated shows, and fucking like Into the Spider-Verse had 2 versions of Peter Parker. Like, he is becoming a bit of a stale character that is kind of hard to make surprises with the audience.
Yeah.
And the fact that this is Miles Morales, yes, comic fans will know him, and yes, he's been a pretty relevant character in the Spider-Man comics and lore for a while now. But in terms of public consumption and like the average Spider-Man viewer or the average superhero fan, even myself, really, he's a relatively new character. Or a new concept that we're just kind of getting used to. I mean, he kind of propelled into people's... New. Yeah, I mean, like, he was in the first Spider-Man game, and that wasn't teased at all. So he was a right surprise showing up, and that was what piqued my interest in him. Then, obviously, we had Into the Spider-Verse, and now we have this, and it feels like this is like the definitive game for Miles. Well, obviously, that sounds dumb because it's the fucking title, but at the same time, like... Where I think there's been countless Spider-Man games, but I feel like 2018's Insomniac Spider-Man was the definitive game for Spider-Man for me. Like the first game that I just loved playing for Spider-Man.
So most people's introduction to Miles would have been Into the Spider-Verse. I think that's where most people would have seen it. People who have read the Ultimate Spider-Man comics and everything like that, even then, he's still not that old of a character. He's only been around for... I think it's about 10 years, maybe?
Yeah, 2011 was when Miles Morales was created. I've just checked it up.
Yeah, exactly. So 9 years, and 9 years by this point. It's good to see that he has taken off in this way, that people have really connected with him. And I think it's exactly what you were saying. It's just a different take on it, a fresh perspective. Because, Peter Parker was getting stale. What stories are there left to tell with this guy that we haven't already seen or heard or read? There's
even in Peter Parker's second iteration in the Mark Webb series, you just... Like, as love those movies as I do, and we have a podcast about all of those, so feel free to check that out. But it is like they're just rehashing the same stuff and going, how can we make it the same, familiar, but different? And this game doesn't need to fucking worry about any of that, because even if they were going to retouch on Miles Morales' story, this game is absolutely nothing like Into the Spider-Verse, so they're fine.
Yeah, and that definitely worked to the game's benefit. So in terms of the story, like we said, it's kind of a origins for Miles. I mean, he has been doing it for about a year at this point, but this is still like his first big step, because like the game essentially starts off with Peter telling Miles that he's going to Sincaria, I believe. Is he going to Sincaria?
I think so, yeah, because he goes on. He's now working as like a freelance photographer for the Bugle, and he's going with MJ, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to Sincaria to do some journalism work. So Miles is left in New York alone. Miles is the only Spider-Man left to protect New York. He's always had Peter there as a mentor to watch over and protect him, and pick up the slack when things went a little bit wrong. Like the first mission shows us with Rhino and everything like that. But Peter's gone now. That safety net has been pulled out from underneath him. So he's really is like a Home Alone situation. Now, how's he going to survive? How's he going to handle being on his own in New York? Much like Home Alone 2. So it's definitely, I think that was definitely a good choice to do, because you don't want too much of Peter in this game. They made the right choice, stepping him to the side and just focusing purely on Miles himself.
Also, Peter's going to get his own Spider-Man story. Like, obviously they're going to make a Peter sequel to the first Spider-Man game.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
That's the thing with this game, right? If you buy this game and you're going, can't wait for another like amazing Spider-Man story, you're not going to get it. You're going to get such a fun piece of content, and I'm in no way discrediting it. It's not capable of going toe to toe with like the amazing story concept of the first game, and it's not meant to. I was actually planning to make a video for this because that's something that we're planning on introducing to the YouTube channel. And one of the things I said, it was a line that I decided against making the video, but one of the lines I wrote, which I was quite proud of, was you need to consider this as a coming of Spider-Man story, because it is. It's a teenager who's just trying to basically fill some impossibly like responsible boots, and he shits himself at the beginning because he's not,
as he
he's good at it, but he's nowhere near the level that New York have come to expect from Spider-Man.
And I think this is something we said talking about Tom Holland, the Tom Holland's movies as well.
Yeah,
he's a kid. He's a kid, and that is so evident in this game. He is a young teenager. Sure, he has all the swagger of a young black teen, but he is he is at the end of the day still just a kid who has been left to protect the entire city of New York. So that's a lot of responsibility for like a 16, 17-year-old.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I definitely wouldn't like it. One thing I did want to touch on, what did you expect when you? Because this was a surprise trailer. Like I think it first came about in the PS5, like one of the like announcements for the PS5 and like what kind of games you're going to get, blah blah blah. We all tuned in to see the PS5. We ended up coming out going, fucking hell, a new Spider-Man game. That was quick. And in the trailer they make it very clear, and it is a reveal. This is a Miles game. What did you expect? Because my initial reaction was, oh, a DLC. And it wasn't that, obviously.
My initial reaction when I first saw that trailer, well, actually, while I was watching the trailer, I was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool! I can't wait to play this in like 2 years when it comes out." But then they dropped it, and then they said holiday 2020. And I was like, "Oh shit, okay, so that's actually a quick turnaround." And then I thought the same of you. Okay, so maybe it's just like a sort of a DLC expansion of the first game, which. Yeah. It kind of is. It's not like a full-length story like the first game. It is definitely much shorter.
I think if you were to add up all the City That Never Sleeps DLC, if that's the right name for it, I think it was, it would probably be about the same kind of runtime.
Yeah, I'd say the same, really. Yeah, and that's no discredit to the game. I think it's still well packed, and there's still enough in there. You probably will finish it quite quick. I know I certainly did. Lawrence, you did as well. And you're probably going to try to not burn through it, because I know we both had that fear of like, all right, let's just put it down for a little bit. Because
I couldn't stop playing this. Like, I'm not joking. This is the first time I haven't 100%ed it, but this is the first time I have ever completed a game's campaign before you, and we got it. You started playing it before me. I think you had a couple of hours on me.
I did, because I got my PS5 first.
Fuck you. I realised, by the way, like for context, for anyone that's listening, me and Nathan both paid for the pre-12 like midday delivery. Nathan's came 10 to 12, mine came at about 2:30. And on the day, I was enraged. I was like, I fucking paid for this delivery. This is ridiculous. I was getting so mad, refreshing the delivery page every 5 seconds. And if it was like a stop closer, I'd be like, yes, it's about fucking time. I realized the next day, I was like, dude, this is an hour and a half. Just get a fucking grip, man, you loser. Like, it really, when I was there and it was unpacked and I could just play it whenever I wanted to, I was like, fuck me, I'm a loser, man. But getting back to it. Yeah, man, I'll be completely honest. I thought, wow, this is going to be cool, but I really didn't expect much. I didn't expect a complete, like, reimagining of the city. I didn't expect it to be like set of winter. I thought, oh god, they're just gonna like. I thought this is gonna be fun, and I'm no doubt gonna buy it and enjoy it. But it's just gonna be Miles doing more of the same. And fuck me, I was completely wrong. Like, they ejected so much heart and passion into this game. I I came away from it, and this is going to sound like so cheesy and cringy, but I genuinely came away from this game and I felt really good. Like, I just felt really happy to have experienced that story. It was really fun.
That is very cringy and cheesy.
Oh, shut up! You're a little bitch. No, right? Get on the cringy level with me, Nathan, because I know you love this game too.
No, I'm not saying I don't. I'm not saying I don't. No, yeah, I did really like it as well. I wouldn't say the exact same. I didn't walk away feeling, oh, very good. Yeah, really, yeah. Well, whatever the fuck you said. No, but I did really like it. I actually did get a little emotional towards the end of the game as well.
I did.
I really like that they took the concept, because something Spider-Man has always done is friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And it seems like when they was creating and developing and writing this game, it seems like they just had that phrase on a whiteboard. It seems like they just started with that and built the game around it, because this game really dives into the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, because specifically Harlem. Harlem is the most vibrant, colorful, beautiful part of the city as well. Like, if you go to Harlem, you're surrounded by like beautiful artwork on all the buildings. The people always seem happier and dancing around and everything like that. And then if you compare it with the rest of the city, the grey buildings,
typical New York,
typical New York. They really did make a conscious choice to make Harlem itself stand out, and I think that was actually a really good choice as well. Definitely making the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man more of an aspect in this game. What did you think about that?
Well, I wanted to draw those 2 points together, because one, I was going to say the fact that the game is so short, it works in the favor of kind of pushing the game's theme. So to get the most out of this game, if you play the campaign, and if you just steam through the campaign and you don't play a single side story along the way, you're going to finish this game in about 6-7 hours maximum. I would say that's a fair assessment of the campaign.
I'd say a little bit longer.
Okay, well, put it this way: you're not going to get more than 10 hours compared to the first game's. I think it had about 25 hours campaign alone. That's a pretty huge drop off. To get the most out of this game, you're going to need to play all of the side quests. And normally, I'll be honest, I very rarely finish every side quest in a game. Very rarely. These ones, I genuinely, at some point, stopped playing the campaign or forgot what I was about to go and do, because of the fact that I was like, I just want to keep doing these missions. And the fact that you're kind of forced to do them to get your money's worth out of the game really drives home the friendly neighborhood point, because you get to, that's the people in this game, the people that walk around Harlem, the people that walk around New York, and you get to help them out. They're the people that help you become Spider-Man. I've never felt more kind of connected to a relationship for NPCs to the playable character like this, if that makes sense.
Yeah. The game does have a very good supporting cast, actually. Genki, Rio Morales as well, his mum, the citizens of Harlem, and then the person whose name I'm forgetting, the antagonist,
Finn.
Finn as well. A really good supporting cast who I actually really liked. What did you think of them?
I like them. I think for the most part, I'll be honest, at the beginning I thought it was a little bit cringe. And I was really, really praying that there's an obvious twist, and that is that Finn is the antagonist. If you're watching this, there was a spoiler warning at the beginning, but we are going to tackle in all of this. The fact that Finn was the Tinkerer, and that was pretty foreshadowed early on. I think Rio asked her, "It's how's your brother?" And she's like, "No, he's fine. No further questions." She's immediately on the offensive, so as an audience member something's up. I was really worried they were going to keep that as the big reveal for the ending kind of chapter, but Miles finds it out pretty soon in, and then you kind of just get to progress from that point on. So around that point is when I started going, these characters, they know what they're doing with these characters, and they seem well realized. The only one who I thought was a disappointment, I have to be honest, the Prowler in this game is fucking boring. I didn't really like his inclusion. I liked him there, but I felt like as a character, Aaron Davis, whilst he's probably the most comic-y accurate version of Aaron Davis, I thought he was just a little bit boring, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. I think they probably took a misstep with with having him already be done with the Prowler, really. Like, he's pretty much retired from being the Prowler by the time
all
the game
he does
starts.
in this game is prowl. like at no point, I think at one point you see Aaron Davis and he's like, I'm just a regular guy. I work on the subway. I'm trying to get my life in order. And he's like, I'm done with that. And then for the rest of the game, he exclusively and only does that.
Do you think the game would have been a little bit more impactful and meaningful if the whole story was like, if the main antagonist was the Prowler and it was a whole story of like Miles versus his uncle? Do you think that would have been better than what we got, or I don't know? What do you think? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't want to trade in Finn for the Prowler because ultimately, I think they've both got the family connection to Miles. I don't think it would have made much of a difference. Like Finn's the close family friend that is like Miles's like childhood best friend. They've known each other for years. Her like betrayal of his like ideals of being a good and moral person would be pretty much the exact same as the pedestal he held Aaron Davis on, and then the reveal that he was actually a bit of a prick as well would have just been a bit like I don't think it would have changed much ultimately. No.
Okay, fair enough. I think you're right now that I think about it, actually, because it is very much the same sort of thing, just like a betrayal of family bonds and everything like that. So yeah, you are right there. Interesting though. There was a good fight with the Prowler. I did like
I love that fight. I do love that fight. I like that was one of the moments where I stopped playing after that fight. And I was like, that was a good moment. You know, when you can like you feel like that was probably one of the best boss fights I'm gonna get of this character, like in this game. And it was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. What did you think of the other villain? Because this game has like it's presented as the primary antagonist, and then it very quickly he becomes the secondary very quickly. His name is Simon Is it Krieger?
Krieger, I think.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have much to do, does he? He's just a generic. He's just a sort of generic corporation guy, really, isn't he?
He is. But my thing with him, because at first I was like, I don't like this guy, and he's presented to you as like nice job, Spider-Man. Yeah, we're the corporation. We love Spider-Man, whatever. And he's very much like this kind of smug, shit-eating, grinning prick kind of person. And I didn't like him because I thought it was a bit cliche, but then he does the cliche so well. So I kind of ended up quite liking his character.
Yeah. No, I'm still not 100% on him, really. He was, from the moment I saw him, I was like, oh, that's fucking Topher Grace. I was like, that's a weird choice.
Was it Topher Grace casting?
No, it wasn't, but it looks exactly like him. Like,
it did look like him, didn't it?
The character model really looks like Topher Grace, and I just could not get that out of my head for the rest of the game. So I don't know, maybe that had something to do with it.
You just sat there like, fucking Topher Grace, man.
Every time I saw him, I was just thinking about Venom in Spider-Man 3.
What's he up to these days? The last thing I saw with Topher Grace was he played the Grand Wizard of the KKK.
He did in Black Klansman. Yeah, that's the last I've seen of him, I think. He's always like editing movies and shit. He like edited the prequel trilogy down into a single movie, I think.
Fuck. Jesus, it's been a slow year for Topher Grace.
Anyway, but yeah, he was there, I guess. He for me, he wasn't a drawer of the story. He was just kind of like the corporation villain, I guess. Wasn't really much to him.
No, that's fair. What did you think of like the mechanics, the like new additions to the game?
Yeah, so Miles obviously has a few different powers to Peter, in that he has camouflage ability, so he can go invisible, and he has the Venom Tap as well. I fucking loved the Venom Tap, mate.
Honestly.
Anytime I got into a fight, I did not waste any time just launching straight into those Venom attacks. They were so powerful, or they at least gave the illusion of being powerful, and I love them.
There are so many times in this game where, literally, I'd jump in and I could stealth this. I really could stealth this. But then I'd be like, but then I've got dinner in 5 minutes, and if I'm gonna stealth, I want to get into the stealth. I don't want to. Yeah. I don't want to stealth for like 2 minutes. I want to stealth for about 15 minutes.
Take time.
Yeah. So I was like, the amount of times I'm like, I could go really quiet about this, or I could just jump in and electrocute everyone immediately, and they'll be dead in milliseconds, right?
Yeah.
Mate, honestly, I went back. I've been playing. I've actually started playing the remastered campaign, but I started that the other day. I actually tried to restart the remastered Marvel Spider-Man campaign about a week ago. I got literally into the first element of like the combat tutorial where like you land in a fight and the game is like press triangle to do this. Yeah. Like I did it, and the second I broke free of the tutorial and I could fight the guys with my own, like the way I'd normally fight them and the way I play the game. Yeah. Instinctively, because the combat is pretty much identical other than Miles's abilities, I went to Venom tap these guys. It wasn't there, and I went, nah, fuck this. I can't be asked. Because then you have to sit there and you have to punch every single one of them until the point where they knock out. And I'm like, oh my God, I could obliterate these guys in a millisecond if I was Miles.
I was the same. I started playing the remaster PS5 version of Spider-Man as well. And just instantly I was missing that Venom tap ability. I just wanted to just throw some yellow electricity on those idiots. But I couldn't do it. But I guess that's a testament to Miles Morales. We just love that power.
What did you make of the... Because obviously you said the other one of his abilities is the fact that he can turn invisible for... I think it's like a pretty short amount of time, but he can turn invisible.
It was a good inclusion, really good for stealth. There's like I'm like a kind of a trophy hunter. I need to like 100% every game and do everything. It's this like compulsive need I have. So I've been like just going through the list of trophies, seeing what each one is, like, all right, let's do that one, let's do that one, let's do that one. There's one which is complete a enemy hideout where without alerting a single enemy. So the entire thing is stealth, basically.
Fucking hell, that is a bit of a mission, to be fair.
That is a bit of a mission, and it's taken a while, but the camouflage, I got it. The camouflage definitely comes in handy for that. And I've got a suit mod as well, where the moment I like accidentally land somewhere with enemies, I just automatically go invisible, and that has saved my ass so many times.
Yeah, so I when I got that one, I equipped it pretty quickly. With a big part of the Spider-Man combat, which I wasn't actually anticipating much of in this game, but we still got a little bit of, nowhere near as in depth as we did in the first one, is the gadgets that he uses. So in the first game, Peter Parker has got like gadget after fucking gadget, because he's been at the Spider-Man game for like 8 years, I think, in that timeline. Yeah. And so he's got basically like a little suit mod or ability for any situation, right? There's fucking loads, and I think everyone kind of had like their main go-to one that they'd use. In this one, they're different. What was your go-to ability or like go-to gadget?
It was as soon as I got those like lure mines thing. It was just those, like the ones where you can just like plant them on an enemy and then just electrocute him. As soon as I got that became my favorite.
I had that one, and I also loved the when you get the brutes in this game are ridiculously hard.
The guys for the underground with the shield and the big hammer, fuck those guys, man.
They're the worst, man. When I see one of them, I'm like, no.
Me so many times. I've died so much because of those cunts.
Mate, there's one tactic where it's a Fisk construction site, and there's like a suspended, like just kind of like a panel in the air. And obviously everyone in the underground has fucking jetpacks, because why not? I went up there thinking, fuck, I'll just heal here for a minute, right? And they came up there and I went, okay, well, I guess I'm not healing. I guess I'm going to fight them here. And I very quickly now just take to a building if I'm going to fight one of those big hammer cunts, because the second you push them, the second you kick them off a building, they're gone. And they can't really fly back up. So I sat there like, instead of punching this guy for like 10 minutes straight, I'm just going to boot him off a building every time. I like the ones where you push the button and two little holograms come out and start fighting with you.
I'm not a fan.
I like them, man. They get to distract all the small guys while I take out the big boys and then I clean up.
Yeah, no, I wasn't really a fan. I used them a couple of times, but no, not one of my go-tos at all.
Fair enough. What else do you want to say about this game? Is there anything else that you think we haven't got to?
Oh, the suits. What did you think of the suits? Do you have a favourite suit?
I'm going to be really boring like the first one again. I like the classic one, the one that he makes his own. Like, although saying that, I started off the game obviously as everyone does in the campaign beginning suit, which is his shorts, his trainers, and like a badly fitting Spider-Man costume. I really like that suit. I like playing with it quite a lot. It feels more Miles Morales to me. But then his ultimate suit, like the classic one, I enjoyed playing it in that game. I think because the game puts you in that suit and tells you, oh, this is Miles's suit. You go, oh, okay, I like it. And I was exactly the same in the first one. I spent the majority of the game in the white spider suit. So
yeah, I'm the same. Again, I have this weird thing when I'm playing the games. Like, I need to do it as the actual story is. Like, so, like, because the actual canon story, like, Peter Parker isn't running around in the fucking Tony Stark suit from the movie, you know what I mean, the Homecoming suit. So I'm like, well, I need to do it in the white spider suit, obviously, because that's the one it is. And the same with this game. So anytime I was doing the story missions, I made sure Miles was in the classic black suit. But then just swinging around, just doing other stuff, I enjoyed going to a few of the others. There's one called the End suit, which I really liked, which was just kind of like trackies and a hooded jacket, which I thought looked really good. And then as well, the spider cat suit is a favorite of mine now.
Oh yeah, I like it when he because he comes out the backpack. That's one thing about this game that I'll touch on before we go. There's two occasions where you put a cat in your bag and you swing around the city. And I was sat there and I was thinking, yeah, this is cute, but how are these cats not fucking dead? Like, genuinely, how are they not dead?
What I enjoy is if you're like falling, if you like dive off a building and then you go into photo mode, you'll see this look on the cat of just pure fear.
Can you? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like his mouth is open and everything, and it's pretty incredible. I love that.
What do you think? So obviously Yuri is your mission person in the first game. Yuri's the one because obviously they need a character to ring you up and be like, Spider-Man, there's a break-in. Go and stop the break-in. What do you think about it being Ganke this time around? Is it Ganke? Yeah, it's Ganke.
Ganke, yeah. I like it. It makes sense. You know, he's always the tech guy, the guy in the chair, the Ned Leeds, same character. So it's 100% makes sense to have him there. This Spider-Man wouldn't work with a cop. I know his dad was a cop, but still, just do not see him working with the police at all for reasons which I think are obvious. So, yeah, no, I makes sense, I think.
Yeah, I really hope it's like a thing that carries on. I hope the first scene in the Peter Parker sequel is Miles being like, by the way, check out this app. It's going to be very useful for you. Because the app was a great inclusion. And obviously Yuri is now probably locked up somewhere for going a bit mad. So they'll need a new guy in the chair or like a way of Peter doing his side quests. How many pods would you give the game?
Oh, I forgot about this.
Yeah, we've been away too long, Nathan. You got too cozy there.
No.
You wouldn't give it a pod, not a single pod.
I would not give it. I wouldn't give anything a pod. I don't even think that was. I don't even think that was the rating system.
It was how happy of a pod was this?
Yeah, it was how happy of a pod, you idiot. So I will give it a pod. I'll give it.
No,
you fool.
Like Icarus, I have flown too close to the sun.
Very good. I will give it a 8 pods out of around about 10.
I'd like to reach out an extending hand in good faith, Nathan, and say, can we make it 8 happy pods and call it quits, please?
All right, yes, we can call it 8 happy pods.
Okay, I would give this 9 happy pods personally.
Ooh,
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah, high ratings.
Yeah. Fair enough. Good man.
Prepare yourself, audience, for this incredibly unscripted outro. As always, thank you very much for listening. I hope you've had a whale of a time on this episode of Another Happy Pod, brought to you by the Pint Size Network.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter for gifs and all that good stuff. You can find us there at Another Happy Pod. maybe drop us a tweet and let us know what you'd like to see here next.
We will ignore it. We have a schedule. But definitely let us know. Keep your eyes on the YouTube channel. This is unscripted now. This is me genuinely asking a favour of you. Keep your eyes on the YouTube channel. We are going to be uploading the podcast there when I can be bothered. But we're also planning on bringing out some short little mini kind of pod episodes. Just some filler content, but it's got some engaging visuals. But you can put it on while you go to sleep. Just get them views in, I'd say.
What do you want? Yeah. Yeah, do what he said.
You heard him, boys. Go on. Right, thank you very much for listening. We will see you next Sunday at midday.
Bye. Another happy pod.
Another happy pod.